weekend retail mode, and yesterday we had quite a day. We had all these worries the days before, and finally we had the uh, Jerome Powell mode. So Jerome Powell going, yes, rate cuts coming closer, etc. But between those lines, guys, for those of you who are into reading America's new monetary power play, I gave you a lot of info. If you want to go into what we're saying, Americans are very likely to use Bitcoin for their benefit, and so does the Federal Reserve. So if you are into that, you can read all about it here, and also in the comments you will find more content. Some of you asking very nice questions. So this is for those of you who like to read, to understand monetary policy, Federal Reserve, gold standard, Bitcoin, how Trump can use it, how the Feds can use it, and so on. Okay, so live on the charts, we had the breakouts, and right now it's just testing support right there. So right now we have that support, okay, which is the big one, and you know, unfortunately, we have already lost that level, the 116 200, but we're still sitting on support here. So if not this weekend, if not the retail, people like me and you, then trust me, early next week, the big boys and girls, they're gonna be having extra reasons to buy. So I'm very bullish again. Okay, and let's go into uh, what's going on. First of all, I need to update the where can Bitcoin go. This is something that I have been sharing, the same chart I've been sharing since May 2023. Same levels, back from 24, looking at 42. You know the drill with trading. You click on play and you see what happened. It went there, it got rejected. It found support, it went higher. Like, I'm gonna do this again because I want you to think. If you think Bitcoin is gonna rise in one day and go up on a straight line, that's not gonna happen. So just watch what the price does and watch the levels and why we draw levels. So again, you see, sideways, 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 fall asleep, boom, rejection, down, breakout, retest. Okay. Now, what do we have right now? Well, we have all that because this can happen in months or weeks, but also it can happen in days. You see, in this case here, if we go to the 4-hour chart, so the last proper pump that we had, okay, October 24 and then April 25. Okay, this could be time to have a new one. I mean, look at this area over here and how the price is consolidating, or this area here, how it's boring and no direction and just gets you tired. Well, we're in the same thing now, and we will be in the same kind of situations all the time. So let's know the levels. We have support, okay, right now at 114,900, around that level. Okay, if it goes lower, we might see 111. So we got to play the levels and we have patience. Now I want you to think. Powell yesterday pumped things uh, up. Okay. By the way, I need to update the deep dive. And the last time we had a bear trap. You see, we might as well be having a new bear trap over here. So I am bullish and I need to update this, but let's go to Ethereum and let's go to something which is educational. I'm gonna post this as an educational post because it's about hedging. Why have I been sharing with you Ethereum long on one side, okay? Ethereum long versus BTC on the other side, and especially with XRP short versus Ethereum. XRP short hedge against Ethereum and BTC divergence, okay? So XRP versus Ethereum. That was the post from August 4. We have now August 23, and you will see that this thing has dropped. Okay, actually it has room to drop more. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that one can be hedged. Let me explain this a little bit more. We have Ethereum pumping, okay, and we expect Ethereum to go higher and higher. I mean, we've been posting about it when no one was posting about Ethereum. And at the same time, the market goes up and down, up and down, up and down. So if one wants to focus and be able to buy what we consider to be the strongest one, okay, and its children like ARB, for example, I've been long on ARB. It's one of the few alts that I post. If you ask me, Link and Aave are the other two, and a few more. And by the way, we explained the fundamentals. Everything starts from the fundamentals. So the fundamentals follow the chart. The chart was telling us buy Ethereum. Then the fundamentals, especially you need to read this ETF news. Okay, so we had the news that the SEC with the new in-kind ETF ruling. So those news, which I explain here, the ETF approval equals real BTC Ethereum usage starts now, etc. The issuers can now create and redeem with actual Bitcoin and Ethereum. And what is that telling us? It's telling us what it's telling us, and then it's also telling us that we need to understand that the key altcoin narratives, Ethereum layer 2s, ARB, OP, Base, okay, DeFi, Uni, Aave, Lido, and this way, for me, ARB, I put ARB first because, I like the ARB chart. But in general, the fundamentals, the situation is dictating something. The market is going up or down. So I personally need to hedge. So if you do not hedge, you need to pick a direction. You need to go long or you need to go short. And you need to go long, but the market drops before it goes up, and you can get even liquidated. You can go bust. You can lose all your money because we are one-sided. Yeah, maybe it goes well. Maybe we go long and it goes long now. But what if it doesn't? And that's exactly why at the same time that we're looking for the strongest one to buy, in this case, it has been Ethereum. Just read about it, go through the posts, is there. Okay, Ethereum, 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 Ethereum. So Ethereum on the strong hand. And of course, Ethereum comes with the Ethereum market dominance, which you see, it rose. So Ethereum on the strong hand. Instead of picking a direction and having to go one-sided, directional, as my friend says, instead of doing that, we can do something different, which is look for the strongest one, the strongest chart, or the strongest fundamentals news to buy. The common sense and the logic supports the chart, but at the same time, look for someone in its category that it's in stress or the chart is not so good. When you do that, you stop picking a side and you are hedged. In Greek, the right word is αντιστάθμηση. What does that mean? I have something, it's like a balance. Okay, it's a little bit Greek, εξισορρόπηση, εξίσωση. Uh, Let's move to the XRP Ethereum chart. This is the chart that I have been trading this time. And before that was Ethereum versus Solana. So hedging, αντιστάθμηση, which means I balance things out, okay? Hedging typically involves trading in derivatives, so you can go long on the strongest, you can go short on the weakest, okay? Which can be effective, it can, if your chart is good. And, there are things that go with it. Let's go through the basics. How does it work? Using a hedge, it's a bit like taking out an insurance policy. So I am long on Ethereum. I am long on ARB. Okay. I want to FOMO, but I am hedged because, hey, I see that XRP is under pressure. So what do? I go long, and I go long on Ethereum and ARB, for example, and I have an insurance, which is a short on XRP. Okay, so that is a way of doing things. Or on a trading account, it looks like this. So Ethereum Euro long, okay, and Bitcoin long over here against the euro, and XRP short. So I go long on the strongest, I go short on the weakest. And that can allow things to be done with less risk, maybe better. Okay. By the way, here okay, you can see a huge difference between the profit and the loss. In reality, it's not so great. Okay, I have some positions here that were closed, either in profit or in some loss. But you can manage your positions. That's for, I guess that's for later. But in general, the idea is this. Let me just draw it for you real fast. Let's say that I want to buy Ethereum. Okay, so I have, let's say, 10 kilos worth of buying Ethereum. At the same time, I want to be hedged. Okay, so I think, hey, you know what? I think it's 70-30. So let's say I have 7 for Ethereum long, and then I have 3 kilos or 3,000 or 3 whatever you want to call it, which is XRP short. Okay, so if the market goes up, then I am 7 times what Ethereum goes up. If the market goes down, I am 7 minus, because Ethereum likely drops, and then I am 3 positive on XRP dropping. Okay, so I am more balanced. If the market gets nasty, for example, it's always about managing the positions. Hey, you can increase your hedge. By the way, I was hedged on S&P short last week. Okay, and that one I increased a few times while S&P was dropping. Okay, so it has to do with hedging, not picking a side, but picking which one does better. And at the end of the day, you see that 32% down. XRP versus Ethereum, 32% down in the past 3 months. So this 33%, even if I had the positions equally, which means long on Ethereum, short on XRP, okay, equally, there is still a 32% gap, which we have found it on the chart ever since the first entry all the way up there. Okay, so what am I doing here? I don't know. I'm not a prophet. It's not a prophecy to know if Jerome Powell is going to be bullish or bearish, or if the situation is going to be good news or bad news. But we have the chart, which allows me to do what? It allows me to do a prolepsis, to see what's going to happen in front of us. In order to do that, I need to do prognosis, which means knowing what happened before. And knowing what happened before is the chart showing the price in a channel. The channel worked, and that gave me a good trade to be hedged and to be able to sustain myself if the market drops and make the best out of Ethereum pumping in this case. In other words, on one hand, we buy the strongest, okay? And on the other hand, we are covered. We have an insurance by shorting the weakest in its category. And that is exactly why I'm always looking who is the strongest, who shall I buy, and also I'm looking who is the weakest. Okay, so why did I get on Luna all the way from up there, short and short and short? Because we knew that we have to constantly look for reversals. Back then, Ethereum, either now or at 5,000, expect a correction. Right now, right there, we were short on Ethereum, and we did well being short on Ethereum back then. Okay, so charts change. It's either the chart or, like Luna, it's the news. Okay, so we go short for reasons. We're looking to buy the strongest, Ethereum, ARB, that's what it's been the past few weeks, and go short on the weakest. Remember, XRP versus Ethereum, it's down 55% ever since that entry already, okay? And I can tell you this, it's probably going to continue if you ask me, but already the damage has been done, but the damage has been in our favor. And trust me, guys, it's the most beautiful feeling when this happens, okay? Look at this, July 26, July 2025, Ethereum long, and you see what happens, long, 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 fantastic trade. But at the same time, okay, same day, July 25, okay, the same day, short on pump, okay, from 63 cents all the way down, we got out at 24. So uh, why? Because of bad news, things we don't like, things we don't like, things we don't like, okay? The same way that we didn't like Luna. So what do I mean to say? Be hedged, be αντισταθμισμένοι, as we say in Greek, okay? Do this based on the chart first and then the news. Get into the mood where you do not need to select the direction and be a prophet if Jerome Powell is going to say something positive or negative, or if the whales are going to buy or sell. Get out of that thinking of being a prophet, okay, and go into prognosis, knowing what can happen next based on knowing the past, okay? So prophecy based on prognosis. I have the advantage, I'm sorry, I have the advantage that I am Greek and I understand the meaning behind the words, okay? It's my edge in the markets. Your edge can be that I'm sharing with you ways to do systematically better, especially if you trade with more money and your risk management needs to be better. Why are they called hedge funds? Because they hedge. What does hedge mean? I buy the strongest. I'm looking for the strongest fundamentals and chart, most important. Okay, because you see this, I'm also looking at the weakest, or I'm looking at the chart like this one, which is screaming, hey, XRP Ethereum up there, I'm going short. So I'm going short XRP versus Ethereum. Especially if I want to buy Ethereum, this is giving me the best insurance. What happened? Ethereum pumped, XRP didn't follow. XRP Ethereum minus 32.2%. Actually, I showed you here over 50% minus, okay? From 14, it's now at 6.4. It's it's there. So this way you can hedge. You don't have to be a prophet looking for direction, but you can be a trader working on calculated hedged trades. It's a good habit, and it's been a long 18-19 minutes video, so I'm gonna go get a coffee. And guys, I'm happy if I touched the heart, the soul, and the modus operandi, a way of operating of one of you. So if you are that one, let me know if you got it. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. Take care, guys.